Day 3 and wrapping up the first week of spring football. That's it, brother.
1 week already in the books. That's crazy, bro.
Coach Prime speaking for the first time today. Lots of topics to get to here. Obviously, starting off, talking about the loss of Deion Ponder. Yep. He said he struggled to even say his name. I mean, he was clearly struggling through talking. I mean, you can only imagine how tough this week has been for him. But, after he said his piece, he did say that, they'll do some tributes for Dom throughout the season. We'll get those unveiled as they come along as well. One of the first things he said, though, I really feel as though we have the best staff that has been assembled in my tenure by far, Scotty.
By far. And he wasn't even asked that. He kind of brought that up on his own accord. First things first, rest in peace, Dominiq Ponder. Rest in peace, 22. Rest in peace, 7. But yeah, that was a pretty powerful statement for him to say that he feels that this is the best staff that he has assembled during his tenure by far.
Yeah.
And I think it starts obviously with the two coordinators who he talked a good amount about today. Brennan, Marion, new offensive coordinator, Marve, new defensive coordinator. And what Coach Prime said that he was looking for when he was searching for these new offensive coordinators, these new coordinators, a guy who gave him head coach vibes. Yes. Somebody who could be the head coach of the offense, somebody who can be the head coach of the defense. And I think both of those guys check those boxes. Obviously, we know Brennan Marion is literally a former head coach.
Right.
Marve has been a former defensive coordinator, been coaching at the college level for a long time. So I think he nailed those two hires with that kind of thing in mind in terms of guys who are kind of like CEOs as a coordinator. So I love that particularly. And speaking about Brennan Marion, he said when he was asked about Brennan Marion, like what it was aside from the head coach, the CEO vibe that intrigued him about Brennan Marion, points per game. 30 plus points per game. And as I tweeted earlier, this Colorado football team dating back to 2024, 10-0 when they score 30 plus points. That's going to be, I think, the formula for this team and particularly this offense this year. Yeah,
I think we learned a lot about the coordinator say, at least the process of it from Coach Prime, right? You mentioned Brennan Marion, obviously Danny Scudero, Cam Perry. They were talking about it. Cam Perry mentioned conditioning. I mean, and you're up here at Boulder. We've talked about it. Everyone has talked about this for, 30, 40, even longer probably. If you're playing in Colorado, the conditioning should be like a boon for you. It should be on your side. And they're going to play with pace in this go-go offense. It's clearly being established right now. On Marve, Cam Perry had a good quote, I think, too. I get mad at them because they don't play a lot of man, he said. So just a little glimpse into...
Very telling, honestly.
For sure, yeah. I mean, especially coming from Robert Livingston's play style. So learned a little bit about it. He did speak about Marve as well and said he's pretty much overqualified, he felt, for the position. Coach Prime loves his coordinators, it's pretty clear.
100%. I thought Cam, we've obviously had him on the show, friend of the program. I love that kid's personality. Yeah. He's smiling, he was cracking jokes today. Like, what'd you say? He's like, conditioning, we gonna run. And that's a staple of Brennan Marion offense, right? We talked about it, the pace, the up-tempo kind of play style. So I love that. And, just talking about both of those receivers, Danny and Cam, talking about how Brennan Marion puts those guys in particular in advantageous situations. And Danny talked about that. Brennan Marion's had a lot of success with guys of Danny's stature, kind of that smaller 5'9", 175, 180 poundage frame, because that's what Brennan Marion was back in the day when he was setting records at Tulsa. So these option routes, the ability for the play caller Brennan Marion to get these guys with speed into space, which is going to be obviously super beneficial for guys like Danny and Cam, but just having that offensive, innovative mind with these weapons at his disposal, it's going to be fireworks in Boulder.
Absolutely. One of the biggest takeaways today, Coach Prime really loves where Colorado is at in terms of their coordinators and the direction that they're going on both sides of the ball. Speaking on the new roster, right? Totally new roster, new transfer class. These practices have been phenomenal. I'm really thankful and appreciative of what I see right now. I got to ask him about Julian Lewis. We got the "he's coming around the mountain" quote again, which
we should have started the video with
I know. We should have. But it's clear they're trying to push Julian, right?
Yes.
And he did mention that the other quarterbacks are looking good. Khalil and Isaac Wilson to this point. Isaac Wilson's really opening some eyes, right? But he's now the vet in the room after the loss of Deion Ponder. Also speaking on that, Coach Prime did say that Deion Ponder was the one kind of running the room, right? So make no mistake about it. This is a walk-on, but this is a massive loss for this football team that is going to resonate from as countless days and weeks from here on out.
100%.
Point being, though, Julian Lewis, it's they're just pushing him. It's kind of a trial by fire. I mean, they obviously saw last year the lack of leadership at most positions, but also at quarterback and how that affected the team. But I really just think that Coach Prime's really treating him like a son in a way. Obviously, Shedeur been his quarterback for forever, but he's really, really pushing him because I think they see the potential in him.
Yeah, I think this might sound contradictory to what you just said in terms of treating him like a son, but I think it's similar. I think they're not trying to baby him. I don't think they want to baby him. Because this is somebody who's had a lot of publicity. People have known who Julian Lewis has been since he was a freshman in high school. Those in, kind of the football circles. And he obviously has it all in front of him. Like last year, there was a veteran guy in the room who a lot of people assumed was going to be the guy. There is nobody like that here in the room. It's his room. And he has to be the guy. And I think that they want him to understand the seriousness, the levity of that situation, that he has to be a leader for this team. Like, forget the football side of it. Like, he has to be a leader for this team as a young guy, as an 18-year-old. And I think, like I said, I don't think they're babying him when it comes to that. Like, he has to grow up. I think he knows that, and he's still a young guy. But the talent is undeniable. I think they want to make sure all the other stuff, the up here, the leadership part comes along just as fast as the football side of things.
Totally. You got anything else?
I think that's it, man. It was a fun day, fun week.
Fun day, fun week. We'll be back next week for week 2, week after spring break, so a little bit of break in the action, but we'll see y'all then.